Welcome back, everyone. Today, we're diving into a genuinely fascinating explainer, unpacking a moment in history that is just profoundly significant. We're looking at the highly anticipated birth of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. Now, the classical texts and historical accounts we're examining today, they paint a picture of an event that was way more than just a regular birth. According to these sources, this was an absolute cosmic shift, a moment that had literally been awaited for centuries by angels, prophets, and, well, the entire universe. In fact, the sources describe this arrival with incredibly powerful language, calling it the greatest glad tiding of the universe. We're looking at a narrative where this single birth represents a massive dawn of light, breaking right through the darkness of an entire era. It's really the unfolding of an event of unparalleled cosmic magnitude, something that instantly began to change the very fabric of the world.
Part 1. Establishing the timeline.
Okay, let's dive right into this. To really wrap our heads around the impact of these events, we first need to look at the exact historical timeline as documented by the vast majority of scholars and biographers of the era. So, the birth took place in the city of Makkah. The year, it's famously recorded as the Year of the Elephant, or al-Fil in Arabic. Getting a bit closer to the exact date, the texts specify that it occurred during the first 10 days of the month of Rabi al-Awwal, and specifically on a Monday. This timeline anchors the Blessed Birth super firmly in recorded history, directly following that monumental historical event with the Army of the Elephant.
Now, you might be wondering, how do we know all this? Well, we aren't just piecing this together from vague oral traditions. There is a deep, rock-solid scholarly consensus anchoring this timeline. These dates and events are meticulously recorded in highly authoritative texts. For instance, we have the widely acclaimed biographical work Al-Raheeq Al-Makhtum by Safi-ur-Rahman al-Mubarakpuri. We also see the exact same details corroborated in Imam Ibn Kathir's absolutely monumental historical work Al-Bidayah wa Nihaya, specifically in Volume 2, page 265. Both of these foundational texts confirm the precise timing, leaving absolutely no doubt about the historical grounding we're working with here.
Part 2. The Celestial Lights. All right, so having established exactly when this occurred, let's look at the incredible, miraculous events that accompanied this birth. And again, we're leaning on some seriously rigorous historical citations here. The accounts of a breathtaking, ethereal light witnessed by his mother, Hazrat Aminah, may Allah be pleased with her, they aren't isolated incidents. They're heavily documented across multiple foundational texts of Islamic history and hadith. We find this event detailed in Volume 1, page 102 of Tabaqat Ibn Sa'd by Imam Ibn Sa'd. It's also recorded by Imam Al-Bayhaqi in Dala'il al-Nubuwwah and preserved beautifully in the famous Musnad of Imam Muhammad bin Hanbal. Highlighting these specific citations really reinforces the robust textual foundation behind the miracles we're exploring today. So what did she actually witness? Well, Imam Ibn Sa'd and Imam Al-Bayhaqi quote Hazrat Aminah directly, recording her own awe-inspiring experience. She said, "When he was born, a light emitted from me which illuminated the palaces of Sham." I mean, just think about the breathtaking scale being described here. Sham refers to the region of Syria that is hundreds and hundreds of miles away from Mecca. The texts emphasize that this was a real, physical, radiant light brilliantly illuminating distant royal palaces. It served as this profound visual metaphor for the incredible global reach his future message would have. And you know, this cosmic significance gets expanded on even further in the hadith literature. In the Musnad of Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal, the Prophet, peace be upon him, is actually recorded describing his own miraculous destiny. He stated that he was already written as the seal of prophets in the sight of Allah while Prophet Adam was still being molded in clay. Wow! He further explained that his arrival was the direct answer to his mother's prayer, reiterating that his mother saw a light upon his birth that illuminated the palaces of the Levant. It just goes to show how deeply intertwined this single moment in Mecca was with the very dawn of human creation. Part 3. The Earthly Tremor. Now, what's really interesting about all this is the massive contrast that happens next. Because while Makkah was experiencing the serene, gorgeous celestial light, another region of the world experienced a sudden, incredibly disruptive physical event. The texts document that at the exact time of the Blessed Birth, an earthquake struck right at the heart of the Persian Empire. Specifically, a massive tremor violently shook the Grand Royal Palace of Chosroes, the king of Iran. And remember, this wasn't just any building. This palace was quite literally the ultimate symbol of earthly power, worldly arrogance, and human empire at the time. And the historical accounts, they are astonishingly precise about the damage.
The earthquake didn't just rattle the windows, it caused the very foundational pillars of the palace to sway, and exactly 14 massive balconies, these huge structural elements, totally collapsed from Khosrow's palace. This is a highly specific, quantified detail preserved by historians, showing a massive physical disruption of worldly power that coincided perfectly with the birth in Mecca.
And this brilliantly illustrates a really powerful narrative contrast found within these source texts. Look at it. On one side, you have the celestial light. It's a quiet, beautiful miracle bringing immense hope and spiritual illumination that stretches all the way across the globe. But on the exact opposite side, you have the earthly tremor, a violent, sudden shaking that physically shatters the pillars of worldly arrogance and tyranny. Put them together, and these two simultaneous miracles symbolized a total global shift, the arrival of divine guidance directly challenging and dismantling oppressive human power structures. So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with this really profound question to ponder based on the text we've reviewed today. How did these dual signs of illuminating hope on one hand and shattering tyranny on the other set the perfect stage for the prophet's ultimate mission? Because the historical sources, they don't just present these as random magical events, not at all. They present them as deep symbolic foreshadowing of a message that would eventually illuminate human hearts while simultaneously dismantling entire empires of oppression. It is such a fascinating historical and spiritual narrative to unpack.
If you found this breakdown of historical sources and miraculous accounts as fascinating as I did, and you want to continue exploring beautifully structured explainers just like this one, make sure you take a second right now to subscribe to the YouTube channel Animated Quranic Tales. Seriously, subscribing is the absolute best way to dive even deeper into these incredible narratives with us. Thank you so much for hanging out and joining me as we explored this source material today, and I absolutely cannot wait to guide you through the next one. See you then.